Hello, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Our mission is to demystify one of the most powerful shifts in modern project management. We're looking directly at the PMBOK Guide's 8th edition, and specifically, we're breaking down its core philosophy of holistic value creation. For the longest time, the project management world was just obsessed with merely producing outputs, just getting the thing done. But the 8th edition? It changes the game entirely. It pushes us to focus on actual realized value.
Okay, let's dive right into this and challenge our traditional definitions of success. In the past, if you hit your deadlines and you didn't overspend, well, you were popping champagne. But imagine a hypothetical software project. The team executes flawlessly, the code is totally bug-free, and they deliver the software precisely on schedule and exactly on budget. Sounds perfect, right? But wait, what if nobody actually uses it? What if it completely ignores the real business needs and delivers literally zero long-term outcomes? Well, under the 8th edition's Focus on Value principle, that project is a failure. Deliverables are only successful if they generate real-world business value.
So, to break this massive framework down, here is our agenda for today. We'll be covering 1. The value delivery ecosystem. 2. Tangible versus intangible value. 3. Tech and construction scenarios. 4. Steps to apply value. 5. Linking principles and domains. And 6. Defining true project success.
All right, jumping right in with Section 1, the value delivery ecosystem. It is absolutely crucial to understand that projects do not exist in a vacuum. You aren't just a project manager building an isolated widget. You are operating within a holistic organizational engine. To really get how this engine works, we have to establish a baseline. The PMBOK defines value as the excess of financial and non-financial benefits over the investment gained from achieving your goals. But here is the critical nuance, and it's a big one. Different stakeholders perceive value completely differently. A corporate sponsor might look strictly at financial metrics, like return on investment. Meanwhile, a customer might define value simply as the convenience your product offers them. And if you're working with a government or a non-governmental organization, value might be measured entirely by broad societal impact and environmental sustainability.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how an organization manages all that complex value creation. Value delivery isn't a one-way street. It flows top-down. Senior leadership establishes the strategy, portfolios prioritize those initiatives, programs and projects create the deliverables, and finally, operations manage the products to sustain the benefits. But check out the arrows flowing back. There's this vital bottom-up feedback loop. Operations provide maintenance data, projects feed performance info back up, and portfolios report back to senior leadership so they can adjust the overarching strategy. The whole shebang is one interconnected engine.
Moving right along to Section 2, tangible versus intangible value.
That brings us to what this value actually looks like when it's produced by this ecosystem. We're talking about the specific, measurable ways a project generates worth beyond just immediate profit. We have to contrast two very different types of value here. Tangible value is what we traditionally track, right? Monetary assets, productivity improvements, stockholder equity, market share. But modern project environments demand that we also deliver intangible value to remain sustainable. This includes creating goodwill, building brand recognition, ensuring regulatory compliance, and super importantly, fostering employee well-being and environmental awareness. Think about it. If your project creates a highly profitable, tangible asset, but it completely ruins your company's reputation and burns out all your employees, creating negative intangible value, well, your overall project value is severely compromised.
Let's look at Section 3. Tech and construction scenarios.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is shifting from abstract concepts to applying these principles into real, recognizable business environments. It's kind of fascinating to contrast two very different industries to prove the same PMBOK principle. Think back to our earlier tech scenario. A software team might easily fall into the trap of heavily focusing on project outputs, writing the code fast and cheap, but ignoring the long-term outcomes. If the software doesn't actually satisfy a business need, the output is useless. Now, contrast that with a massive construction housing development. You might have a single vendor producing a seemingly standard output, like houses. But to generate actual value, that project has to handle distinct customization requests for different buyers, satisfy varying lenders, and meet highly unique environmental grading requirements from one plot of land to another. Success in both scenarios absolutely requires looking past the physical output and managing multi-stakeholder value.
Okay, on to Section 4, steps to apply value.
Let's move to how this builds into a step-by-step framework you can actually use to ensure your work aligns with the company's ultimate mission. Step 1. Strategy is defined top-down by leadership. You literally have to know what that strategy is. Step 2. Portfolios prioritize the initiatives. You've got to ensure your project is high on that priority list. Step 3. As a project team, you create deliverables, utilizing tools and processes like agile sprint reviews or value stream mapping to guarantee you're achieving outcomes, not just outputs. Step 4. Operations take over to sustain the results. You have to hand off your deliverable effectively so value continues long after your team leaves. And step 5, honestly perhaps the most important, bottom-up feedback. You must provide performance information back up the chain so leadership can refine the strategy. It's a continuous living loop.
Next up, Section 5, Linking Principles and Domains.
So the crucial point is zooming back out to connect this focus on value principle with the broader PMBOK performance domains. Prioritizing value acts as a powerful lens that elevates how we handle everything else in our projects. In the governance domain, a value focus means we stop creating bureaucracy just for the sake of rules. Instead, we right-size our frameworks to support actual value delivery. In the resources domain, imagine you're facing really tight financial constraints. Instead of just abandoning the project or demanding expensive new hires, a value-focused mindset sparks alternative solutions. Things like cross-training your existing talent to maximize the team's capabilities. And in the risk domain, tools like your risk register aren't just academic exercises anymore. Focusing on value ensures your responses to both threats and opportunities are pragmatic, effective, and fully transparent.
And finally, Section 6, Defining True Project Success.
This all leads us perfectly to the climax of our explainer today. What does true, holistic success actually look like under the 8th edition's framework? I want you to read this definition directly from the PMBOK glossary carefully. Project success is the consensus view across intended beneficiaries, other stakeholders, and project participants that a project was perceived to have delivered value that was worth the effort and expense. This is a monumental shift. Success is no longer determined by a project manager just ticking boxes on a schedule. It's a consensus view. It requires the beneficiaries, the team, and the stakeholders to all look at the tangible and intangible outcomes together and agree, yes, this was genuinely worth the effort and the expense.
Which leaves us with the most important question for you to take back to your teams today. When you log into work tomorrow and look at your project schedule, I want you to ask yourself, will your next deliverable just check a box, or will it drive real-world value? The PMBOK 8th edition is challenging all of us to step up, look past the outputs, and become true architects of value. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I challenge you to go out there and make your outcomes truly matter.